Hello, welcome to another episode of Everybody's Lost. I'm Veronica Muñoz Martinez, journalist and your host, and today I'm sitting with someone who found out she had ADHD at the age of 25. And suddenly, many things started to make sense for her. Now, she works as a senior recruitment specialist in London and is still trying to navigate work and being neurodivergent. So, we will talk everything about this diagnosis, how to manage work as a recruiter and recruiting people. And if you are neurodivergent too, I think this will be really interesting. But also, if you want to understand how a neurodivergent mind works. So, stay with us, Dasha Bennett. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
So, yes, tell our listeners who don't know you about your upbringing, were there early signs about your ADHD, something that, I don't know, you didn't understand, why am I like this?
Yeah, sure. So I grew up with an international background, and I always thought that, moving from place to place, so I've lived in 7 different countries, and I always thought it's due to me being moved around from place to place. And at the age of 11, I would say, teachers would pick up and say, why can you not concentrate? Why can you not focus? Why are you, staring in space? And I always thought, why am I different from other of my classmates? Why can I not achieve what my classmates are doing in terms of grades and pushing forward?
Yeah, I really empathize with you because I was kind of the same at the school. They
Yeah.
will be like, Veronica always has their head in the clouds and everything. And then, like, yeah, I'm really distracted all the time. So, yeah, how did that work for you? So you are from Russia, you
Yeah.
moved to different countries, and then you went on to university. How was studying in university while having a diagnosed ADHD?
Yeah, so I went to, first of all, at the age of 11 in the international school, they even put me for extra tutoring. My parents got an extra tutor. Still, I could not get it. I was still behind, still always late. And then somehow I still managed with the extra help. But when I went to university, now I look back, I don't know how I managed to finish. And
You
it was,
managed.
yeah, I managed, and I don't know how. Like, it was a 3-course degree, as you know. You need to build up credits, then you get to the final year, and then you have a dissertation. And instead of me going year by year, I left everything to the last minute. I was running around like a headless chicken. My printing that I was running to the printing place, because it was a fashion marketing management degree, so a lot of visual creative work left to the last minute. And then it's like with the ADHD, you have this procrastination, and then when you have this pressure, then you deliver and you perform, you're hyper focused, and then you have this anxiety on top of this. So I did finish with a 2-1. I spent most of my final year in the library because I could not do it year by year like a normal person.
Yeah.
And on the graduation, I was nearly late for even my graduation. And when I did submit my work, I had my phone in my pockets, and as soon as I handed my dissertation in, my phone fell in the toilet. And my friends were asking, like, why are you not celebrating with us? You just submitted your dissertation. And I just went to sleep because I didn't have any sleep the night before because I was running around.
That's ADHD.
That's
as it
when I
speak.
knew something is not
And
right.
you still didn't know.
No.
I think also now people, they are starting opening up more about the ADHD. So that's why people, they are realizing about it. But back then, no,
Yeah.
there weren't so many conversations about it. So how did you get this diagnosis? Did you realize or figure out yourself, or did someone else figure it out?
I did not even know it was ADHD. I thought something is wrong, but I didn't know what it was. And back then, there was no awareness for ADHD. Now it's a topic of neurodivergency. There's a community behind it, a lot of research, ChatGPT, for instance, as well. Back then, there was nothing. So only at the age of 25, so I graduated university at 24, had my first graduate role, and it was a showroom called The Place London. And my manager, actually, Suna Yates, who I'm still friends with, she said to me, listen, you're always late. Your attention to detail is out of the window. I think you have ADHD. And I said, what's that? And she was like, what do you mean? And I actually remember getting fired from that job for always being late. So
tell me you are ADHD without telling me you are ADHD.
and yeah, and all of my friends like, why are you always late? And it's like, I was thinking about the Pomodoro effect as well. To manage the task, I remember even buying like a sand timer to be quick, and then it's like you start to miss. Let's say if you're running for a train, you miss that, and then you're thinking, oh, I missed this, I missed that, and it's like a whole. And that's when I knew at 25, like, okay, I need to get diagnosed because this is crazy. And I only got diagnosed, like officially, I started to take non-stimulants last year only. But from 25, I was on a waiting list.
Oh,
in the UK, yeah. Or you can go private, but it's like super expensive.
So expensive and everything. So how did you get diagnosed? So you went finally to the
it's like a help by scheme through a first you go to a GP, they refer you through a psychologist, then you do a test, and then they also ask your family and friends to do a test to make sure like why it's. And I scored all 10 out of 10. It was like it was like this.
No, I didn't know that. Like your friends, because your friends. No, you can lie or you can. But your friends, and family, they will answer correct.
Yeah, exactly.
So then, how was the test? What was the result?
So 10 out of 10 for everything. As I said, this is the graph. It was here. And there's a lot of stigma on medication because now it's more spoken about. But then, if it makes your life more simple, if it helps you, why not? But I do agree if you are taking medication, this is just a cherry on the icing. You should still have 8 hours of sleep and diet and looking after yourself. It's not just, I'm going to take medication and it's going to solve all my problems, because it's not like a magic tool, but it definitely does help. Yeah. And even when I read a book, I can focus on what I'm reading. I'm not thinking about X, Y, Z. Before, I had 3 books, one chapter. This is how I would read. Like, this is insane.
Yeah. So how did you get to that level? Tell us simple steps that you followed.
Yeah, so when I got diagnosed, I'm still on Strattera, which is a non-stimulant, and it actually helps anxiety as well. It's, as you know, if you are taking the stimulant, it's basically... an upper, so you have the effect straight away, but then you also have your down, whereas this is a bit more stagnant.
Were you scared? So when you got the diagnosis and they gave you that prescription, were you scared to take it at first? Or?
I did a lot of research, and my mom actually was like, no, have you seen, what is this, but I did so much research.
And your mom, where is she from?
She's from Ukraine, actually.
So Ukrainian, Russian people, they
Eastern
are
European,
depression. What is that?
They don't know any.
Nothing exists. Just do something.
Yeah, And even before, to answer the question of if I was scared to take it, I remember even contacting my auntie and speaking to my dad's side of the family because my cousin was taken to see for ADHD. So spoke to his doctor as well to see, and she's like, in Russia we prescribe it for kids, it's not a thing, what's ADHD? And I was like, no, this is what it is. And she's like, okay, let's do a test as well. And I did it there as well, and then I got it finally, and I knew that it would work for me, and I'm still on this medication, but it took a while to understand. It's a trial and error as well, so. Yeah, and
so then you started taking stimulants, but also you just told me that it's important to follow some steps. So which steps have led you to focus on reading a book, for example?
So what steps? Definitely planning my day, because I feel like if you're not, I don't want to say clock watching, but if you are just, of course you have your off days, you want to, not think about scheduling, but I need to have some type of routine, otherwise I'm just, all over the place. And also to have tasks where you are stimulated, and if you're not finding something interesting, for instance, I don't know, I don't find it interesting to brush my teeth, but I know I need to do it, so
it's some chores and you need to focus, because I guess with ADHD you get distracted with everything.
You get distracted, and if you're not interested, you're not interested in this, and you leave it to the minute, to the point, till you don't want to do it, but you have to do it. So it's just pushing yourself with this.
So since the diagnosis, Did it change the perception of yourself a bit, or in a better way, for example?
I'm feeling much more calmer. I'm feeling like I have more organization. Time management is still an issue for me, I feel like. As I said, I have like the sun timer. What else? Focus is definitely there, and concentration. And I think in school and university, they're a bit more lenient. But when you come to the real world of working, employers don't care.
You are an adult.
You're an adult.
Man,
It would be nice
you.
if they care, but you need to adapt to society and work. And if you're not focused or concentrated, you're there to earn a paycheck. Like they, don't care, I feel like. So you need to, get it together, basically, which I feel like has helped with the medication and, what works for me. Yeah.
And so you are talking about your job and work. You are a senior recruitment specialist, like that's like in specialized in luxury, like that's a big deal.
Yeah.
So how do you manage that? How was in the past before having the diagnosis, and how is it now? How do you manage this professional role while having ADHD?
So before actually not diagnosed, but before the medication, I would stay behind work. I would put in above the hours I'm supposed to put in. If a task is stimulating for me, for instance, I like to talk to candidates, I can get that out of the way. If it's something admin related or Excel, I don't like it, I would leave it to behind. That creates a lot of chaos, disorganization. Now I just have a schedule and calendar, color block, and that works for me as well. Everything is more organized, and I'm a visual person, so I like color blocking as well. And now with ChatGPT, you have like AI for a personal assistant of how to organize this as well. So I think that definitely makes a difference. You need to be on top of what you do. If you're on top, then it's okay.
Yeah. So you told me, yes, like you was late to work and things like that. Like, what was that feeling for you? Like, why am I like this?
Now I have a rule: if you're on time, that means you're late. So.
So you have
so
to
this
be like,
is
yes,
be
like much time in advance.
Yeah. Because it's like, and everything was like just running. Like my hair was wet. Like, and I'm just like, how I even managed to get to like even late for interview. Yeah, this was just like the biggest was lateness as well, and I still struggle with that. So I'm always trying to be there a bit early.
Yeah. How do you do that? Like with the sun?
Yeah. Even, and I put my alarm clock, like when I have to be there, when I have to leave. I plan my route the day before, even earlier. Yeah, before I just and sometimes I'm so late. Like I used to do this like a few years ago, and I would be late, and then I'm like, oh, I'll just like say I'm sick. Because I was already like, this is just taking,
what is worse, being late or not coming? Like,
I mean, yeah, neither. So
the ADHD brain.
yeah, literally. Yeah.
So and also the other side is really interesting because you are recruiting people. Now, did this diagnosis change the way you see neurodivergent people when recruiting them?
Yeah, definitely when it comes to implementing strategies for job applications and the candidates that I have. Let's say when you're filling in an application as well, a lot of it is, filling in data, filling in content, and you never really know how the person is like, and you can see they're expressing themselves with video, and they're more visual. And having an in-person interview rather than just having a phone call, I think that definitely makes a difference for neurodivergent people. And a lot of them are very, very, I mean, people think, oh, it's to do with intelligence, and it doesn't. It's just what they're interested in. There's just a different way of approaching this.
Yeah, some people, they can be even more intelligent or more focused because it's what they really like. It is not about intelligence. It's like just that your brain works differently. And how you said, you just need to manage it better. And so do you think they are a great addition to the team? Like, it's important to have the diversity in the workplace.
Yeah, I think there is another way of approaching the interviews and what they bring to the table. For instance, they're much more empathetic as well towards people. I mean, I think it's a good soft skill to have in recruitment, because it's not just all about KPIs. You know, you want to have like a human approach and make a difference as well, because you are filling roles for people, and you know, a job is important for a person. Yeah.
And so, for someone who is looking for a job or trying to keep a job, like you told me,
Yes.
they are struggling, they are neurodivergent, what would you recommend them? What easy steps to like apply for a job or keep their job?
I would apply to something that you're interested in for sure, and feel stimulated to do, and know how to manage your time as well. Because if you're not interested in what you're doing, I think that will definitely show, and then you just won't succeed if you're not interested, for sure.
Yeah, and what are some maybe easy steps to take? For example, applying for a CV. What is the mistake that you see in people with ADHD?
A lot of typos. And now there's no excuse, because there is a lot of technology to do this. A lot of typos, too much text, 6 pages. Why you need 6 pages? Just narrow it down to 2. Like, keep it simple. Simple is always best as well. And also, even targeting companies who are, you know, good at, even like for Whole Foods, for instance, you know, they're good at having neurodivergent people. And also where you can just be your authentic self, not just a number, because there are companies who don't care. They don't care if you're late. They don't care. I mean, generally, they don't offer the neurodivergent, you know, and you can ask for that, you know, for instance, if you're having your desk, a lot of people stand and type, you know, and they can
so they are more stimulated, or like
more
stimulation, or
stimulated,
moving.
yeah, exactly. So there are ways like around it, but generally I feel like, yeah, you do need to adapt to the society as well. But there are companies who do care, which I think should be more, you know, the awareness should be spread for that, for sure.
Yeah. So when you got diagnosed, did you get, I don't know, a bit scared to tell the people around you, or even your workplace, or how was that for you?
Like, now I'm blessed that it's more, you know, widespread, and you have this awareness. I feel like some people don't get it. They just think, oh, this is an excuse, or like, what do you mean? What is this?
Really?
Yeah, other people are like, what's this? I think it depends on the person and their knowledge and education towards this. Personally, you know, I'm on this podcast, I would like to spread awareness, and it's such a common issue, you know, it's nothing to be ashamed of. And if anything, like, if you use your ADHD as a superpower, it can get you to places. So just flipping the mindset in a positive way.
I really admire ADHD people. I think like they are really creative, and they have this thing like you are so energetic and you can do things, and I don't know. I really like it. So people they shouldn't be ashamed of who they are.
Exactly.
So how did your friends and family reacted? Maybe they expected it?
Well, I definitely know my parents have it. And they're like, what do you mean? I was like, and my dad as well, he can't even sit and watch a movie. He's sitting down, he's leaving, and in women, it's less, in men, you can see that they have it. Like, they're a bit more hyperactive. In women, they're a bit more calmer. So I think that's why I was also undiagnosed for a long time.
Oh, why is that? Why is that?
It's just less prone to pick up these symptoms. Like, just because a woman is not, you know, hyperactive, it doesn't mean that she like, for instance, my mom has it. She's very calm, but she's just forgetful, or doesn't know any sense of direction, or losing things, misplacing things. And I've noticed since, you know, I've been diagnosed, I looked around and I'm like, oh, wow, I have a lot of neurodivergent people as well
around me.
And now I'm like, wow, like, not that, you know, I have friends who don't have ADHD, but you can really see the difference. Like, the connection you have with an ADHD fellow is like on another
You
level.
feel understood.
You feel understood. You're like, oh, he's, you know, a bit like out of the box, like me.
Yeah. Did you feel different when you grew up? Like, why am I like this? Or did you feel frustrated also to see like why they are on top of everything and me not? And I really try hard, and I say to myself, I will change it.
Yeah, I was like pushing and pushing. There was like tantrums in the house. I was like, I don't know what is wrong. Why can and there was there was no one really around who had ADHD. And I remember talking to my friends as a teenager. They're like, what do you mean? And then I thought, is this something to do with, being intellectual? Is it I'm like, what is going on? And then when you're a teenager, you have, your transition with the hormones, and you have a lot of changes as well. And you're just like, this is out of whack.
Mm.
So
Yeah, sometimes you can also confuse ADHD with other, like, it's like, no, you are just forgetful, or you are just this,
Yeah.
but no, actually,
yeah.
you have ADHD. And how also opening up for you with other people when you meet other ADHD people and friends, what do you have in common?
What do we have in common? Well, I actually do training as well. I haven't been consistent, but I have a friend called Eva. She has her own business for training for fitness first, and she actually adapts training programs for ADHD. So for instance, I do my online training. You have the app and everything is visual.
Mm-hmm.
And also this is, I don't know if this is childish or so, but it keeps you motivated, because with ADHD you want to have a goal. So as soon as I complete something, you get like a little star, a little medal. And I know, like, I'm a 31-year-old woman, but
it's
that
a
definitely
reward.
keeps you like stimulated. Yeah. And generally, yeah, they are like energetic people. And the more I share about it, like the more actually neurodivergent people you have, then the bigger the community is as well.
Mm-hmm. And do you think exercising help you with your ADHD? Which kind of exercise do you do?
Yeah, so I love my running. Yeah, like, first it was the anxiety before COVID. I got into running, and now, I'm continuing to do that. That calms me down, and my gym as well. Sometimes I go to Rebel One or Barry's Boot Camp, and I feel like.
So which one did you do in River?
Oh, do you know what I would do? I would get this £9 email address that I get on the app, and I try the different locations.
Try us.
And me and my friend, actually, because, we go regularly, and yeah, it's a vibe. It's like a techno party for adults, right?
But you're suffering. Like,
you're suffering in silence in the dark.
Like, let's go.
Yeah,
yeah.
This
with
is
this
what like
high volume music
and sometimes, like you said, like how exercise helps. If I don't exercise and I don't leave the house, I start to jump off the walls. And especially during COVID, at one point I was working remotely, and I'm like, why can I not do what I need to do? Like, I even went to the pharmacy. I'm like, I can't concentrate. What is wrong with me? And they were giving me like some herbs for like concentration. I was like, something is wrong. And now I understand. And exercise just calms me down. You need like even if it's like a walk, something, to calm me down.
Yeah, it just releases all the energy you have. And I guess it's a way of meditation for you, because when you are running, you are doing exercise more in a boot camp or running. You are not thinking about anything. All these thoughts that you have, like, I'm sure there are many in your head.
Many, it's like a
so then
ball.
it stops and it quiets down.
Yeah. It is like a way of a form of meditation. So that's definitely, and also just being outside as well, seeing different, I was gonna say like pictures, but like different sceneries as well. That helps then, because I couldn't do running in a gym, for instance, the treadmill. To me, it's like a torture.
It's boring.
No.
You need to do things that kind of excite you, that gives you like I don't know, like motivation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you recommend that, for example, for neurodivergent ADHD people, maybe it's one thing to do an exercise that they
exercise, and then being interested in topics that you want to do. I don't think you should push yourself if you don't want to do it. This is what I also noticed. Because, for instance, like, I'm not an academic. I don't like maths or anything to do with like numbers. And when I was younger, I tried to push myself, and I'm like, if I'm not interested in it, just that's okay. You don't need to tick all the boxes.
Yeah, so they have to do what they like and
what they like, what they're passionate about. And I think if you are doing something that you're passionate about, then you're gonna get a good result, because you're not trying to put like a triangle into a square, and pushing for it. It just comes authentically and natural.
Yeah. So what would you say that you hoped more people understood or knew about neurodivergent people?
I'd say we definitely have like our low moods as well. Obviously, I'm on my non-stimulants. It's like a bit more stable, but you definitely up and down. You can have like a burst of energy, then you can feel low. And I've noticed that definitely affected my, friendships or relationships, especially like romantic relationships in the past, because you're just like, you're down.
Your emotions are
Yeah,
up, down, up,
or
down.
even
Yes.
if you're texting, I can't send one message, I'm sending 10 because my brain is thinking, it's like a constant. Now I'm like, okay, your brain quietens down. But this is all coming with experience. Now I know what it is. But before, when you're going through the motion, you have no idea, how it is.
Yeah, and ADHD people, they tend to be more impulsive, right? You do things
Super,
that you want,
super
like at the
impulsive.
moment.
You're like, oh, I'm gonna do this, especially as a woman. If you have your time of the month, plus you have this on top,
That's like
it's just like boom. Yeah. So
if a woman with the period is bad, imagine an ADHD woman with her period.
yeah. This is like. So this is definitely, but like you need to watch out for all these signs. And it takes time. Like I was only, if I'm 31 now, like mid-20s, I only realized, like what it was or what I was doing. And I look back and sometimes I'm like, oh, how I was like living like this. I don't know, like leaving
somehow
like.
You managed to
somehow
graduate
yeah.
everything and have these professional.
And still nearly late to my graduation. Like, can you believe it? And even now, I was walking with my mom through, at the South Bank through Royal Festival Hall. And I saw the graduates for masters, UCL, and I thought, would have been nice to have more graduation photos, but I was nearly late. Or all I have is like a few with my parents, and that's it. So, so yeah, this is the reality.
Yeah, in the. I imagine like relate to like the most important day of your life. Like.
Yeah, literally. And I had my makeup done like outside like Croydon, and I was traveling, and it was just like a mess. But I got there in the end. I got my 2-1 at least.
Yeah, well, 2-1 like first. At first, it's really hard, and in the last year, like.
It's like a sink or swim final year dissertation.
One thing that just came to my mind because in the last year, I just had it my last year. So how did you manage to do so many assignments at the same time? Because I'm also a bit distracted and I can't focus on different things. But you got diagnosed with ADHD. How did you do? Did you struggle to do so many assignments at the same time? Because in the last year, some weeks you can have like, I don't know, 3 assignments in the same week and the exam. Like, did you struggle with that?
Yeah, I first of all went for the ones that I was more stimulated by, and then I left everything to the last minute. Like, I remember before my final deadlines, I would not sleep the night before, and then I don't recommend this to anyone. I would go and get these Caffeine Pro tablets, and then I would be sick in the toilet because I haven't slept. Like, just crazy things like this. Like, and what would push me is the pressure, because I know the stakes are high. If I don't get this mark, this will be the consequences, the repercussions.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is what like got me going for like 3 years. Like, what? Actually,
like, how did I do
even
it?
4 years, because I did my foundation at London College of Fashion. So it's like, I don't know. And then I was even working and interning, running around like this. Like, it's not fun.
Yeah, and now that you know your diagnosis, how do you manage multiple tasks with ADHD? Did your therapist help you with this? Do you go to therapy and she gives you some advice on this?
Mostly everything is online now. I did have a therapist that helped as well, and focus. First of all, the scheduling, having times written down, that helps, even if it's an hour by hour. And just focusing on one thing, because this is the thing, like with even assignments or any task, I could not finish one task. It was like 15 tasks, and in the end, you're not finishing anything.
Yeah.
So it like just focus on one thing.
Yeah.
And now that I'm on my non-stimulants, I can like focus on one thing, and I'm just thinking like, okay, like for instance, now we're doing a podcast. I'm just focused, being present, being here, not thinking about like X, Y, and Z, what's happening like on the way back, or I need to go, like.
You're present with us.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm here, not in the sky somewhere.
But yeah, I relate with you some things, like I'm also really, I guess, also ADHD people, they are really creative. So you in your job, is it good to have like a professional job while being ADHD or not? Is it good because you have many ideas?
Is it good? I definitely am like a creative at heart. What keeps me stimulated is being around people, for sure. But I'm also at this point where I can find the best of both worlds. But in my free time, I like to do my photography, creative shoots. But it's just like a hobby. It's just fun. It's not something that I'm like, I want to make money from.
But you do really nice pictures.
Yeah,
honestly.
and I stopped. I don't know why I stopped. I did like a few here and there. But yeah, in my free time, just to get those creative juices flowing, to just have that in your free time. But sadly, creativity doesn't make a lot of money unless you're like the top 1% of being in that pool. So I thought, what can I do with my skill set where you can, earn a living as well?
Yeah, of course.
It's like the bread and butter, yeah.
It's important to have a hobby as well, I guess, to keep you entertained and also something you are passionate about. So, yeah, what would you advise a neurodivergent person who is feeling lost? What would be your advice to motivate them?
My advice would be definitely go and get medicated. that's for sure. And also find a community for neurodivergent people. Now it's more spoken about as well. And what else would I do? Just planning your time and scheduling, because there's been my low days where I wouldn't leave the house and I thought it was like anxiety or like a apathy. You wouldn't call it as far as depression, but I know that something is off and know that like you're not alone in this as well. And the more research you do about it, if you have these symptoms, you should go and see a doctor, because it's like you don't realize how much it affects your life till you see the other side. And yeah, it is very sad because it does hold you back. Unless you flip it and see it as like a superpower, then that's good. But I think you need to know how to use the tool, I would say tool, like in a correct way.
Yeah, and I really like that what you said is your superpower. So that's how you have to see. That's how you see it.
Yeah, exactly.
That is what it makes you different. It makes you special and unique, I think.
Yeah, if you know how to use it, but it takes some time a long time for me, but yeah, that's what I would advise. And it's so common as well. Like, I don't think it's a taboo subject to talk about. A lot of people have it nowadays as well. So yeah, and that scheme through the GP as well, like the help with ADHD really helps as well.
Yeah, I think there shouldn't be taboo topics. That's why I created the podcast and why I want to talk about this. I think it's really important, and I have some ADHD friends as well, and I guess it's scary, right? Like just to get medicated, go to the psychologist, and also if your family doesn't believe in that because they are more like old-fashioned.
Oh yes,
you just have to follow your instinct
and do what is right for you, right? Follow your body. What you gut instinct is there for a reason, right?
Yeah, because mental health matters, and your mental health, you don't have to be crazy or, well, I don't even like to consider any mental disorder crazy, any of them, but that's how they say. You don't know, you can go to a psychologist however you feel is so important, and to go to the therapist.
And that's like, what is crazy? That's very subjective, isn't it, as well?
We are all crazy. We
like,
are all
define
have our
what is crazy.
Things, our weird things.
Our unique traits, I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
So, looking like 5 years, what would you like to improve in terms of career? What are your goals in terms of personal life, career?
Personal life. Well, where do I start? Let's start with career. I definitely don't see myself in recruitment for the rest of my life. It would be nice to have my own online platform for, I'd say, graduates that are finishing university and they don't know how to, well, not necessarily don't know, but don't have the tools to go into a first graduate role. So it would be nice to do like consultants work and see with their CV, mock interviews, and how to get that, because I feel like there's no gap. Well, there's like literally a huge gap now between graduates and first graduate roles. Because when I finished university, I did have a careers course, but I didn't have enough time or tools to be able to do that. So an online platform would be nice. And also I finished my TEFL, so just teaching English as well. I find that really
amazing.
nice. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, but in 5 years, so maybe something with my Russian as well would be nice, something with people.
Yeah.
But you have a plan and then God laughs and it can be something else.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
is it good for you to set also small goals, right? I think for ADHD people, neurodivergent, it's good to set small goals.
Small goals, yeah. I try to keep it in the day for sure. It's because again, you're like, what's gonna happen here? But in 5 years, yeah, that would be nice. Although I say I want to leave London and I have a love-hate relationship with London. I'm still still here, so
We all, like, it's a trap. London
it's
is
a trap.
It's like, you hate it, but you're still here. Like, why? I don't know, but it keeps you here. I think it's because when it's good, it's really good. When it's bad, the weather, not good,
And when it's sunny, it's what's the saying? They have suns out, guns out here.
Today, while we are recording the podcast. So yeah, thank you so much for coming. Honestly, I hope
Thank you for having
that
me.
all your goals and your future gets better after this diagnosis. And I think it was really important to talk about this, about ADHD, about being neurodivergent, because like whoever is listening to us, you are not alone if you are struggling with your mental health. And also one last thing I wanted to say, ADHD women are more likely to suffer from depression, from suicide thoughts, from anxiety. This is something that is not talked about enough. So it's really hard to be neurodivergent, but there are many people like Dasha and others who are too, and I hope it just gives you some comfort. Yeah, like, what are your last words to telling to our listeners?
What are my last words?
To those ones who are neurodivergent and those who are not, to understand them more.
So those who are neurodivergent, as mentioned, like, you're not alone for sure. And if you are working on any project professionally or even in your personal life, it doesn't matter if you do things differently, as long as it's the same result, who really matters. And if it's not the same result, you will get there, eventually. And there's a lot of good qualities, such as being empathetic with ADHD and energetic. And people that don't understand, well, I feel like in today's society there's so much information and it's more and more spoken about, and there's AI, and there's just, I don't think there's an excuse to not know what it is. It's only a click away. And I just want to say thank you for having me. What you're doing is making a big difference in speaking about various topics. So thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. And just tell your socials or where people can find you also if they need your advice or something, maybe your social media, Instagram, LinkedIn.
Yeah, my LinkedIn is Dasha Bennett. I guess you can, put it in the footer of this podcast. And my Instagram is _DariaB. So thank you.
Yes, thank you. Bye, guys. So I hope you have a nice day. You can follow us on Spotify, YouTube, Everybody's Lost. If you like this episode, please rate it, or also comment if you are neurodivergent. Let us know if you have any questions, whatever. Just put in our socials wherever you are listening or watching from. Adios.